Ladies and gentlemen, it's key time. Coming back to talk about week 17 of the 2024 NFL season. There was a lot of playoff seeding on the line, and it pretty much happened. I'm going to start off with the very first game of week 17, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers. This game, this was really thorough annihilation after the second quarter. Now, the Chiefs, they haven't scored 30 points all season. Right, haven't scored 30 points all season, but yet they are 15 and 1. They are 15 and 1 and 7 and 1 on the road. Their only road loss was to the Buffalo Bills. Now, Patrick Mahomes was 29 of 38, 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Russell Wilson, 23 of 37, 205 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Now, Patrick Mahomes, this was the first game in a while where I can say that he actually looked like himself. He really did. And when you can see everybody, as far as the wide receivers, they had a good game. Rushing attack was pretty much average. The Steelers' rushing attack had over 200 yards, but they were not able to put the ball in the end zone, and that is what hurt them. And as far as third down efficiency in this game, the Chiefs shouldn't have won this game, but like I said, offensive ineptitude when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, that is going to be the reason that they lose in the playoffs. That's going to be the reason. Because a team, Chiefs, they were lucky to win. Now I'm not going to say that they were lucky, but they had an imprint in this game for for their team. They were 3 of 10 on third down. Now, if this was any other team, 3 of 10, the team would lose. But 3 and 10 being on third down and having Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, it says something different. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers were 8 of 16 on third down in this game. Pittsburgh, they had 2 turnovers in this game that proved costly, and was the reason why that was one of the reasons why they couldn't stop the Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs are the number 1 seed in the AFC. Do I see anybody, and I do mean anybody, coming into the Chiefs, coming to Arrowhead and beating the Chiefs? No, I don't. But somebody please tell me I'm wrong. Somebody please tell me that are we about to witness history? And yet, better yet, we are witnessing history. Because when the Chiefs, I've already penciled the Chiefs in for the Super Bowl. I already penciled the Chiefs in for the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, he about to win 3 straight. Everybody in the Chiefs organization is taking a rest this coming week and getting ready for the playoffs. But do I think that they are gonna have some hiccups in that first playoff game? No, I don't think so. Because Marquise Brown, he hasn't played much throughout the season. He was pretty much they pretty much had him on injured reserve at the start of the season, but now he's starting to come back and get acquainted. You got Isaiah Pacheco, who is running aggressively and with anger like he always do. You got Travis Kelce coming back. You got Travis Kelce still doing this thing. Noah Gray, Juju Smith-Schuster. Now you have Xavier Worthy. He is another deep threat that the Chiefs need. So the Chiefs, what they are going to do in the playoffs is stretch the field more than they did during the regular season. And do I mean, If you haven't learned now, for everybody, you don't bet against the Chiefs. Not with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid as head coach and quarterback, that quarterback combo. You just don't do that. The next game I'm going to cover, well, the next game I am going, yes, the next game I'm going to cover is the Baltimore Ravens and Houston Texans. Now, this game was basically a blowout from start to finish. Ravens had touchdowns from special teams, had two touchdowns from their special teams. That is where the lopsided affair at NRG Stadium started. Now, only reason why I watched this game because I knew I was gonna have to cover this game. But after halftime, basically the viewership for this game pretty much dropped after halftime. Because at halftime, we all know that Beyonce came out and did her thing. And after that, the peak of the viewership of this game was Beyonce at 27 million. After she had left, it dropped down to 18 million. So, not too many people was very fond of this game. And when you look and see Lamar Jackson, I mean, he had a decent game, 10 or 15, 168 yards, two touchdowns, zero, and I do mean zero interceptions. One thing about this, what they did was they gave Derrick Henry the ball. He had 147 yards. And another thing, the the games where they give Derrick Henry the ball over 20 times and Derrick Henry has over 100 yards, the Ravens are 8-0. In games where they don't give him the ball 20 times and he has under 100 yards, they are 3-5. So, one thing about this, what they need to do is give Derrick Henry the ball and let Derrick Henry do what he has to do. Now, Ravens fans and anybody that is associated with the Ravens need to tell the offensive coordinator on short yardage situations, give Derrick Henry the ball and move out the way. That's what they need to do. Just move out of the way. Because the Ravens, Derrick Henry is going to run the Ravens to the Super Bowl. That's if they keep giving him the ball. Now, if they go on the road to Kansas City, might be a different story. Buffalo, more than likely, you're going to have to go to Kansas City, might be another story. So, only teams that I really don't see anybody. You know what? Better yet, hold on, cause I'm getting a little ahead of myself. The only two teams that have a chance at beating the Kansas City Chiefs are the Baltimore Ravens and Buffalo Bills, and that's all I'm going to say. Now, the worst game of Week 17 was the Seattle Seahawks and Chicago Bears. I mean, this game was. I just pretty much wasted 3 hours watching this game on Thursday night because this game wasn't really exciting. I watched the entirety of it, but I'm just going to give you all a rough estimate of this game. Geno Smith, 17 to 23, 160 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Caleb Williams, 16 to 28, 122 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Rushing game for both teams were pretty much average. Wide receivers in this game was average. Third down efficiency in this game, I am going to talk about, and then I am going to move on. 5 of 13 for the Seattle Seahawks, third down efficiency. 5 of 15, third down efficiency for the Chicago Bears. This was the worst game of the 2024 NFL season. The whoever scheduled this game needs to have their needs to have a reduction in their paycheck, because at the end of the season, we only want teams that are playing for playoff seeding in the Thursday night football slot. So next season, what the NFL needs to do, Roger Goodell, what you need to do is you need to find better quality matchups later on in the season, because this was a clown show. It really was, because most of the time I was watching the game, but I was pretty much just looking at other sports stories, because it was tied. It was 3-3 at halftime, and it was 3-3 at halftime, and then just before the half, the Seattle Seahawks kicked the field goal, and the field goal fiasco with the Bears. You should have let your kicker kick 55-yard field goal. Who knows? He probably would have missed it, and he probably would have made it. But how would you know unless you try? Chicago Bears all throughout this season has been a team that they don't know what they are doing on the offensive side of the ball. And that is why I'm not going to pay too much attention to that game, because the game in and of itself didn't really reach up to the hype, and it really didn't have any type of hype at all. Now, the next game I'm going to cover is the Los Angeles Chargers and the New England Patriots. Same as this game, I'm just going to give everybody a rough estimate. Justin Herbert, 26 of 38, 281 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Drake May, 12 of 22, 117 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Running game for the Chargers was about the same. Running game for the New England Patriots barely didn't crack over 100 yards. Third down efficiency in this game was Chargers 10 of 17, the Patriots 2 of 10 on third down. So this was going to be a blowout no matter what, blowout in and of itself. So the next game I'm going to cover is the game that pretty much was the game during Saturday. The Denver Broncos and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Cincinnati going into week 18, they need the Broncos to lose and the Miami Dolphins to lose one of their final 2 games. Excuse me. Now, obviously, the Dolphins, the Dolphins won over the Browns yesterday. So, for their week 18 playoff implications, they need the first win, have a Broncos loss, and have a Miami Dolphins loss. Now, Miami, they're playing the New York Jets. So I don't think that is going to be a win for. I don't think that the Miami Dolphins are going to lose that game. So Bengals, you're pretty much out of the playoffs. I mean, really, if you look at it. But for all the Bengals fans out there, let's hold out some hope. Now this game, Bo Nix 24 of 31, 219 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Joe Burrow 39 of 49, 412 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. The rushing attack for both games was about the same. The wide receivers for the Denver Broncos and Cincinnati Bengals pretty much had stellar performances. The Bengals, and I'm gonna keep on saying it. Started off 4-8. I even said that their season was over with. But but when you look at it, over the past month, they have pretty much been fighting tooth and nail and covering ground to get back in this playoff seeding. Third down efficiency, 4 of 12. Bengals, 7 of 13. This game was this game was everything you could ask for. And as far as the Broncos, I said at the start of the season that the Broncos would win 10 games. They are 1 game away from winning 10 games, and if they win next week, they are in the playoffs. Now the Chiefs, they aren't playing their starters next week, so this is this is the best time for the Broncos to win this game, and this is the only time because after this game, your season is done if you don't win this game. So the Bengals and the Broncos, they had a very interesting game. It went down to the wire, and it did. They basically played 5 quarters, 4 quarters, and the entirety of the overtime period. This game is going to be one of the games that we look back on the entirety of the season and say that that was a very entertaining game. And it was. The next game I'm going to cover is the Arizona Cardinals and Los Angeles Rams. Now, this was this was also one of the I'm gonna say this pretty much wasn't a game of this was a game of playoff magnitude, but it did not look like it. It did not look like it. You had Kyler Murray 33 or 48, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Them 2 interceptions was strictly his fault. If you go back and see the game, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. And then you got Matthew Stafford. He had an average stat line 17 or 32, 189 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. 13-9. That was the final score. Third down in this third down in this game, they were the same in this game. The Cardinals, 6 of 13 on third down. The Rams, 6 of 15 on third down. This game was basically it was hard to watch. It really was. I tried my best keeping this game on, and I did keep the game on. But you got offense. The Rams' offense is in the top 20. The Cardinals' offense is in the top 20 in the NFL. Both of these teams should have easily cracked 20 points. They should have, but they didn't. And with this loss, the Cardinals are eliminated from playoff contention next week. The Rams, they have a chance to make the playoffs with a win over the Seattle Seahawks. The next game I'm going to cover is another blowout, and I'm just going to give y'all a rough estimate of this game, the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. New York Jets, I've said it all season. You pretty much done wet the bed. I ain't going to talk about you much in this game. 12 of 18, 112 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so that's it for me talking about the New York Jets. The Buffalo Bills, 8-0 at home. They're going to the playoffs. They are going to be the second seed. Josh Allen, 16 of 27, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Rushing game for the Buffalo Bills, 97 yards. Wide receivers for the Buffalo Bills, they had a good game. The Buffalo Bills are the second seed in the AFC playoff picture. Now they can start printing off their playoff tickets. They really can. They can start printing off their playoff tickets and also getting ready for the playoffs. Now, the next game I'm going to cover is the Las Vegas Raiders and the New Orleans Saints. Shout out to Brock Bowers for becoming the best rookie tight end in NFL history. He broke Mike Dicker's record yesterday. He broke Mike Dicker's record yesterday. The New Orleans Saints and the Las Vegas Raiders are a team. Both teams are looking for a quarterback, are looking for offensive line, are looking for legitimate wide receivers. Both of these teams are in the same boat, and the bottom line is this game is just do you have on, how much tape can you put on, how much good play can you put on tape for next season? Because that's the way this game was. The Raiders, we knew that they weren't going to be anything at the start of this season. The Saints, oh my goodness, it seemed like after week 2, everything, the bottom fell out the damn barrel for them. And I mean that just like it sounds. The bottom of the barrel fell out for them, and they haven't been able to get back on track since. So congratulations to Brock Bowers for breaking the record for most yards by a rookie tight end in NFL history. The next game I'm going to cover is the Indianapolis Colts and the New York Giants. Finally, and I do mean finally, one of the New York football teams were able to get a win. This week. The New York Giants, and I do mean the New York Giants, with Drew Lock at the helm. Drew Lock, 17 of 23, 309 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He played a good game. The Colts, you had a good you had a underachieving season. Maybe next year the Colts can get to the playoffs. They haven't been to the playoffs in a while. The last time that the Colts was in the playoffs, Phillip Rivers was their starting quarterback. So all in all, this was a good game for the New York Giants. This is the type of game that the Giants can put on tape, and you can see those young guys, they still believe in this system. They still believe in their head coach. They still believe in the coaching staff and the coaching scheme. So the New York Giants, they pretty much going in the season out with a bang. And they are going to have a good draft pick. And I don't want to hear nobody talking about, well, the Giants should have lost this game. They should have been number 1. No. When you are a head coach and you have a losing season, you don't be thinking about draft picks. That is what the general manager is supposed to think about. To all you fans out there that want the number 1 draft pick, it's for the GM to think about. And that's all I got to say about this game. Man, it just feels so great to see the Giants win a game. And this is coming from a Cowboys fan. Now, us Cowboys fans, we have had a tough time all season. But to see the New York Giants win a game, it actually made me feel good, because I'm not used to the Giants having a season like they have now. With them having a top 10 draft pick, It's only been 2 times in New York Giant football history that has happened. The last time was 1965. The time before that was 1950. So this is uncharted territory. The next game I'm going to cover is the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas, let's just come back next year and see what we have. Let's see if we can have a better season. Eagles, I knew the Eagles was gonna do a number on us. I really did. I knew the Eagles were gonna do a number on us. Kenny Pickett, 10 of 15, 143 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. 0 interceptions. Saquon Barkley, 167 yards. Saquon Barkley is now 100 plus yards away from breaking Eric Dickerson's rushing record. Hopefully he has the chance to do that, because if he does, he when he was drafted by the New York Giants, I said that he was going to be a great running back. For him to go to the Philadelphia Eagles and be on the cusp of getting the all-time leading rushing record, it is an accomplishment. It is accomplishment that I don't think will ever be reached again. I just don't think that. So, with Saquon Barkley, and plus the Eagles, they're playing the Giants next week. So more than likely, more than likely Saquon Barkley will get the record. So congratulations to the Eagles. They are the 2024 NFC East champions. Now let's see what they can do in the playoffs. The next game I'm going to cover is another blowout. The Panthers and the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, 27 of 32, 359 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Bryce Young, 15 of 28, 203 yards, 2 interceptions. 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Let me tell you, Bryce Young, he showed flashes. He showed flashes of good stuff in this game. Going into next season, I expect Bryce Young to take that next step when it comes to being a cornerstone QB and winning some of those games against top-notch competition. I expect that. Carolina Panthers, do not mess with Bryce Young. Keep Bryce Young at the starting quarterback position, because if you mess with Bryce Young, you will be messing with your franchise cornerstone process. You will be. Now the Buccaneers, they are going to have a chance at making the playoffs since the Atlanta Falcons lost last night. This game right here, third down efficiency, was really the telltale sign in this game. Panthers, 2 of 9 on third down. Buccaneers, 10 of 14 on third down. And Buccaneers had a block kick, had a block punt return, and Baker Mayfield threw 5 touchdown passes. So Buccaneers had a great day. And I do mean they had a great day on offense and defense. The next game I'm going to cover is the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mac Jones, 15 of 22, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Mason Rudolph, 19 of 31, 193 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Both of these two teams are in the exact same boat. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be done with this game. Third down third down efficiency in this game, 7 of 14 for the Tennessee Titans, 8 of 13 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Jacksonville Jaguars sweep the Tennessee Titans this season. The next game I'm going to cover is the Miami Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns. Another blowout game. Tyler Huntley, 22 of 26, 225 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, 24 of 47, 170 yards. Rushing attack for the Miami Dolphins was average 74 yards. Cleveland's rushing attack, 114 yards. Third down efficiency in this game, 2 of 11 for the Miami Dolphins. The Cleveland Browns, 7 of 17 on third down for the Cleveland Browns in this game. Now, the Cleveland Browns, for the past month, I done said that they should get ready for the 2025 NFL Draft. News broke in the last few days. Deshaun Watson is talking about a restructure in his contract. So, Deshaun Watson is coming back. And I think that the Browns, they will have a better team when Deshaun Watson comes back. Now, the next game, the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. This game was an entertaining game. The Vikings got out to a 27-10 lead, and they held off the Packers' comeback and won this game. Sam Darnold, 33 of 43, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jordan Love, 19 of 30, 185 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Running attack for Minnesota, 69 yards. Green Bay's running attack, 104 yards. Wide receivers had a good game. Team stats, when it comes to third down efficiency in this game, 8 of 14 for the Green Bay Packers, 6 of 12 for the Minnesota Vikings, and Minnesota Vikings are 14-2 and currently leading, and they have a big game next week. Against the Detroit Lions for, I'm going to give you, for the number 1 seed in the NFC, for a first round bye for a first round bye in the NFC playoffs, and for the division championship. So that's 3 games. That's 3 things wrapped up into one game, and that is going to be one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game, for Week 18 of the 2024 NFL season. And the last game I am going to cover for the Sunday slate which happened last night, the Atlanta Falcons and the Washington Commanders. Atlanta, you had a chance at winning this game, but you blew it. You did, because the Falcons had the lead late in the fourth quarter, and only thing that the Washington Commanders only thing the Atlanta Falcons had to do was run the ball more in the second half, and they didn't do that. Bijan Robinson only had 90 yards in the second half. Now, Atlanta, you are one of those young and upcoming teams. On the last play of the game, you had a chance at making a field goal, and you missed it. But you shouldn't have even let it got to that point, because you were up by 10 early start of the third quarter. You had a chance to go down the field and score. You didn't. You scored in the fourth quarter, and you gave the Commanders a plenty of momentum going into the fourth quarter and going into overtime. Jaden Daniels, 24-36, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Michael Penix Jr., the young guy, he is gonna have a good career in the NFL. 19-35, 223 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The running game for the Washington Commanders cracked over 200 yards, to be exact, 216 yards. Atlanta's rushing game, 126. Atlanta, this might be the game that you look back at the end of the season and say that if we ran the ball, we probably would be in the playoffs. You probably would be in the playoffs. Now, we have to see how next week unfolds to see if the Atlanta Falcons make it to the playoffs. And with that, those are my reactions to week 17 of the 2024 NFL season. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click that notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. Please like and follow Key City Sports on TikTok. And remember, one last thing, the key is always on time.